Well, happening right now all across the Midlands. Since this morning, people have been waking up to this and plenty of it. We're talking about snow, and we're looking at a video from Whitmire this morning in Newberry County. The sheriff there telling us the snow has been falling pretty hard in that area. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this digital weather coverage edition of WACH FOX News. I'm Freddie Clairvaux. The winter weather has hit the Midlands, and we have team coverage throughout the area. We have our reporters standing by, but we begin tonight with Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoose. And Taylor, you've been talking about this all week and even today. You mentioned earlier the snow would pick back up, and man, you were right. Yeah, we had a nice burst in Columbia and surrounding areas in the mid to late afternoon, and that's led to some decent snow totals in parts of the Midlands so far today. Highest report so far is about 5 inches in Camden and central parts of the city is where that was reported. Reports of nearly 4 inches from Pomeria to Chapin, so around Newberry and southeast Newberry County. Irmo and Winsboro reports of roughly 3.5 inches there so far. Over in Elgin, about 3 inches. Sesquicentennial State Park on the northeast side of the metro, 2.5 inches of snow reported there. Just over 2 inches in Aiken and Batesburg, as well as toward Red Bank. Now in downtown Columbia, roughly reports have been around 1.5 inches so far today. A little bit underwhelming, I imagine, for a lot of you. We're not done just yet, but odds are we're going to end up with near or slightly below the lower end of our forecast when it's all said and done. Of course, good news for the cleanup efforts afterwards, but I understand if you are disappointed by the lack of snow that maybe some of you are seeing. These are all the reports we have received so far. If it does not look correct for your location, well, we rely on the reports that you folks, the public, pass along to us in the National Weather Service. So if you don't mind getting a ruler out, taking a measurement in your yard and passing that information along to us, that would help us out quite a bit. But as you can see, roughly around 2 to 4 inches near and north of Columbia. We believe lighter totals to the south, but again, we don't really have many reports down there. So if you have anything that you can pass along to us, we would greatly appreciate that. Snow has been steady in Columbia all day long. A lot of it has been on the light side and has struggled to accumulate. We had that burst of heavier snow around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, but otherwise it's been a steady lighter snow throughout the day today. Enough to cover the grass, though. Most of our interstates are handling the snow pretty well. That's the good news. Now, there have been numerous reports of bridges, secondary streets icing over. You may have noticed when the snow was falling and making contact with the pavement, it was melting. So that moisture that was once there is now going to freeze over tonight because we have very cold temperatures out there, and they're going to continue to drop to the teens later on tonight. The upper level low responsible for this snow is pretty much camped over South Carolina right now. So on the east side here, the snow bands, these heavy snow bands around Kershaw, Sumter, and Clarendon counties, they're moving to the northeast. Farther west, we have a heavier snow band in parts of Newberry and Saluda counties. That's diving to the south. So all the snow is kind of circulating around the upper low that's camped over us right now. We have a bit of a lull in the snow right now in Columbia and Lexington. We'll be keeping an eye on this. If this pivots to the east, it may give us one final burst of heavy snow before things wrap up later on tonight. Our Future Watch model does project that the snow will be wrapping up close to midnight tonight. After that, we'll see gradual clearing to the east. We should see things dry out for good by sunrise on Sunday morning. How much more snow are we going to get? Looks like the heaviest totals will be in the northeast parts of our area, where an additional 1 to 3 inches are possible. You're probably looking at closer to around 1 inch farther to the southwest. But again, it ultimately depends on where those heavy bands of snow track over the next several hours. Winter storm warning does continue until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's one of 2 things we're worried about. It's also the cold weather, and I'll touch more on just how cold it's going to get tonight coming up here in a few minutes. And to stay up to date with our weather coverage, you can always download the SkyWatch weather app. Also, WACH FOX will have complete team coverage throughout the weekend to bring you the latest on air and online. And just into the WACH FOX Content Center, parents, we have some new modified school schedules to report. Richland School District 2 on Monday shifting to e-learning. Again, Richland School District 2 e-learning. Kershaw County Schools tonight also telling us on Monday they are switching to e-learning. We've already previously told you about Lexington, Richland 5, Richland 1, and Sumter schools have already switched to e-learning. As for Fairfield County schools will remain closed on Monday. Again, parents, All of that information coming to us, and as we get more school closures, we'll definitely post it on our website at watch.com. Well, at this hour, Columbia fire crews are investigating a fire they believe was storm-related. This afternoon, 7 fire engines responded to the Hibachi Express on North Beltline Boulevard. Authorities tell us 4 people were inside but got out safely. Chief Aubrey Jenkins telling WACH FOX he believes it's storm-related because the fire appears to have started in or around a heater that was being used inside the store.
Please be conscious of your heating source. And if you are using supplemental heater, please do not use these things no more than 3 feet from anything that can burn.
Well, at this hour, officials are now working to determine the official cause of the fire. Tonight, the Department of Public Health confirming 2 more storm-related deaths from last weekend's ice storm. Authorities say an 85-year-old man died in Lawrence County from hypothermia. They're also reporting the death of a 91-year-old Lawrence County woman from hypothermia as well. That brings the total of storm-related deaths from last week to 6. Well, right now we're taking a look at accident photos from Lexington County, courtesy of the South Carolina Highway Patrol. This is why they're asking everyone to stay off the roads. You can take a look at these 4 of these images here. To your top left, you see some individuals in blankets outside after they were in some type of incident. And then on the bottom right, you could see a car that appears to be flipped over into a ditch. So once again, as we're getting into the night, road conditions are getting worse. Troopers telling us they've received several service calls for cars losing control and landing into ditches. And we all know that it is freezing outside, but we have a message from Dominion Energy. The power company is urging customers to conserve energy tonight. That's because of heating systems working extra hard to keep homes and businesses warm. So here are some tips for you. They're asking you to adjust your thermostat to 68 degrees. Yeah, okay. To turn off non-essential lights in your house, to make sure that you have adequate airflow through your AVAC system, and also to enroll in their rewards hours program, because depending on how you conserve energy, there are some rewards there. So we are continuing our team coverage in downtown Columbia. Our reporter standing by. WACH Fox's Mike White is there bringing us more. Mike, how is it looking like from where you are?
Yeah, Freddie, the snow has definitely picked up and still is picking up here at USC campus and in downtown Columbia, as you see right behind me. Snow covering all different parts of the campus, the roads slick, and a full sheet of snow on the ground here, where we're probably about 2 or 3 inches of snow here on the campus. Now around 4 p.m. here at USC campus, students were having some fun with the snow. Some were having snowball fights, making snow angels, and even some showing up with sleds to have fun in the snow. But back in the downtown area, Clint Shealy with Columbia Water says they've been working with the Department of Transportation when it comes to clearing up the roads. He mentioned they have drivers on standby for plowing the roads when the accumulation gets even more. But the one thing he says he's stressing to a lot of people in the area is when at their homes is frozen pipes.
We're advising folks, leave those faucets dripping. Also, closing up, this windshield coming, if you can, close up your crawl space as much as possible to keep that wind from circulating under the house. Open your cabinets if you've got a cabinet enclosure for your plumbing.
Now the snow is expected to get even stronger throughout the night, and officials are urging everyone to stay home as much as possible and not travel if it's necessary. Reporting in Columbia, Mike White, WACH FOX News, Local First.
All right, Mike, thank you so much for that. And while those USC students definitely taking the time out to have some fun with that snow, we actually have some of that video on our website as well as our social media platforms. You can take a look at that too. So our team coverage continues, this time with our Megan Gagno. Megan, you've been checking in with officials in Newberry County, but before we get to that, what is it looking like where you are? All right, we are sorry for that. We're having some some technical difficulties there with our Megan Gagno, but she is over there near Granby Park. And what she basically talked about is kind of what same thing as Mike is saying, how they are seeing the snow pick up in that area, and you're starting to see it stick a whole while. Well, when she Earlier this afternoon, he told her that the roads are getting worse in Newberry, and as a matter of fact, the county has seen 3 minor car accidents so far, with most being caused by hitting icy spots on the road. The sheriff there urging people to stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary.
I'm just encourage people to try to stay in, because we're going to go to something that's just a little bit slick to something that is just dramatically different.
Of course, as we're seeing all of this around, our chief meteorologist, Taylor Canoose, was letting us know that, and he talked to us about how it would stop, it will pick back up again, and that's what we're seeing in these various counties. We're seeing the snow picking back up, and we're seeing the amount of incidents. You saw the pictures there from the South Carolina Highway Patrol in Lexington County. We have some other photos across the Midlands as well, but they're urging people to please be careful. And so with that being said, our coverage continues with our Brawley's Pimentel, who is joining us live in Lexington County. You talked with Lexington County and West Columbia officials. What do we know?
Well, first off, Freddie, let's just take a look around. I mean, right now there's way more snow than there was earlier today. I mean, if you look around, the road is completely covered with snow. And I also have a handy dandy ruler.
Oh my goodness. Just when she was going to count the snow or measure the snow, of course, technical difficulties, her camera went off. That was our Brawley's Pimentel, who is actually in Lexington County. You saw there a few seconds ago how much more inches of snow is in that area. She's telling us in Lexington County, the snowstorm making it across the Midlands, dozens of cars were out, and this is the view of Lexington County. So this is what we've been talking about all this weekend with our meteorologists, with our crew letting us know what people need to look out for. And as I mentioned before, Brawley's Pimentel speaking with officials about the dangerous roads.
We have 3 things that we've been saying throughout last weekend, this week, and then now as we arrive with this snowfall happening right now, and that is make sure you protect 3 Ps, and that's people, pets, and pipes. In these conditions, check on those who might need a little extra help in your life.
Just try to put some thought into things before you venture out. Pay attention. Find out if the weather conditions outside would be dangerous for you to drive. Even if you're going out to help people, you're not going to be much help to them if you get in an accident. So try not to go out if you can help it.
Good information there. And so now from Lexington, we're going to take a look at some of the photos that we have been getting from you all across the Midlands. Take a look at some of these pictures. First of all, thank you all, by the way, for sending us your pictures, going in to chime in, all that good stuff. So we're able to sit there and watch these photos. That's a photo from Camden over here. You're going to see some other photos throughout. And of course, the dog's got to have some fun too in the back of the deck. Enjoying some of the snow. And then check that out. That is actually near Congaree, South Congaree, actually, which is interesting. You have a dog enjoying some time as well. So all of these photos, thank you all so much for posting on our social media platforms, as well as your photos coming in through Chimed In. We really appreciate it. And speaking of Chimed In, let's take a look at it. We have this picture brought to us by Wayne Sigmund. Thank you so much. We see these 2 individuals here with a snowman. Then Taj Brown, thank you for sending this picture in, having a great time outside with the snow out there. And then our final chimed in picture, our WACH FOX director Dylan in the house with the snow that is covered in his backyard. So once again, folks, go ahead to our chimed in and submit some of those pictures to us. If you are in need of backup power for medical reasons, the South Carolina Department of Public Health has opened its triage line. Now, it's the best way for you to call to access a medical equipment power shelter. Now, keep in mind, individuals in these shelters need to bring a responsible adult to care for them. DPH will not provide health services in these shelters. That number is 1-833-351-9990. Again, 1-833-351-9990. And also, due to the storm, the Department of Public Health giving the green light for early refills for specific prescriptions. Now, this is a one-time only move for refills that are due through Wednesday. State officials say they're doing this as a precaution because of the potential for services to get disrupted, and they would not want those who need prescriptions not to have their meds because of the snow. Well, to stay warm, here's a list of some warming shelters for you in Richland County. Transitions Homeless Shelter. And in Lexington, there's Batesville, Leesville Senior Center as well. If you're over in Newberry County, Gorman Elementary School is being used as a shelter. The school is located at 255 Hawkins Road in Newberry, and they'll be open until the weather event passes. Over in Orangeburg, the city has turned the gym on Brockton Street into a heating shelter as well, and they'll be open until all of this is over. In Sumter, they have a main emergency shelter and winter shelter that is open on Artillery Drive as well as Pine Drive as well. So once again, all those different heating shelters there for you all. If you need any of them, you could definitely get to that and see that. Now, to stay up to date with us, download the WACH FOX News app by scanning the QR code on the screen. You can also visit our website at watch.com.
We're getting a number of reports saying that roads are heading downhill in a hurry, deteriorating as the sun has set. I'm going to step off camera and read a couple of reports I have. So first of all, as of 5:45, a half hour ago, Kennerly Road in Irmo closed between Broad River and Fire Tower. Half a dozen cars in ditches and a dozen more are stuck on the icy road. And I think that's what's happening here is now that the sun has set, the moisture, the snow that fell and then melted when it made contact with the road, that's starting to freeze up and creating very icy conditions. Also getting reports that the roads are like an ice rink across Lexington County due to that same situation. Our neighbors to the west in Georgia, Waynesboro, Georgia, several vehicles reported in the ditch in that county just in the past 30 minutes. So that's going to be our main concern tonight is very icy road conditions. I know really not much of that snow stuck to the roads today, but I think we're going to have a deceiving black ice situation that's really developing right now, and it's largely thanks to these temperatures. We have air temperatures that have dipped to the low 20s, even down to 19 in Camden. The wind chill is down to 8 in Camden and Sumter right now, feeling like 13 in Columbia and Winsboro and 11 in Saluda. Single-digit wind chills are expected for everybody overnight tonight and early in the day on Sunday. There could be a few spots that feel as cold as 0 late tonight and early tomorrow. And for that reason, we have the extreme cold warning that will be in place starting at the top of the next hour at 7 o'clock and lasts until 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Please make sure you are dressed appropriately, layered up, covering your fingers, your head, everything you need to make sure that you are staying safe in this bitterly cold weather that's going to stick around much of the night and the first half of the day on Sunday. So that's all I have for now, Friendy, and we'll have more updates coming up at the top of the next hour.
All right, Taylor, thank you for that. And to stay up to date on your weather coverage, you can always download the SkyWatch weather app. Also, WACH FOX will continue to have team coverage throughout the night and bring you the very latest on air and online.